In a special place between heaven and earth called Cloudland, people dwell until they're forgotten before moving on to heaven. Mommy Penguin would gaze down at earth every day, shedding tears. A year later, she secretly rode the raindrop train back to earth to visit her son. They embraced and played together, but as the rainy season concluded, she had to catch the final raindrop to return to Cloudland. Reluctantly bidding farewell to her son, Mother Penguin promised not to cry while watching over his life from afar. This tale is being read by Young Ji-ho from a book his late mother, Soo A, crafted for him. Despite hiding from her funeral, Ji-ho overhears relatives attributing her weakness to pregnancy. He gazes at his mother's picture and assures her they'll meet again. A year later, young Woo-jin is doing his best as a single dad, managing a messy house and not excelling in cooking. He diligently starts his day by cleaning the pool where he works, then hurries home to prepare breakfast and help his child get ready for school. His son is found sleeping inside his mom's wardrobe each morning. Alongside managing his routine, Woo-jin takes his medicine, while Ji-ho eagerly anticipates the arrival of the rainy season by checking the weather forecast daily. Woo-jin takes Ji-ho to school on his bicycle, even though he can't ride fast. At work, his coworker keeps an eye on him and brings him coffee, much to the jealousy of their boss, swimming instructor Choi. After school, Ji-ho heads to a bakery owned by Honggu, who is like an uncle to him and also Woo-jin's best friend. On this particular day, Ji-ho arrives in a bad mood because his dad can't run, and the school has a special event coming up where students are supposed to team up with their fathers for a relay race. Honggu quickly solves the issue by offering to race in place of Ji-ho's father. Woo-jin expresses his gratitude for this when he comes to pick up Ji-ho after work. On the day of the race, as Woo-jin is about to leave work, Choi asks him to change some light bulbs, causing a delay. At the school, Ji-ho is informed he can't participate because Honggu isn't his biological father. But when Ji-ho is about to return the team's t-shirts, Woo-jin arrives and decides to run in the race with his son, thinking he can manage by just jogging. Ji-ho does well in his portion of the race, but when he hands the baton to his dad, he becomes upset, knowing they won't win. As a result, Woo-jin pushes himself seriously instead of jogging. Initially performing well, he collapses just before reaching the finish line. Later, Ji-ho asks Woo-jin to promise he'll never leave him. He also wants to hang blankets outside, believing it will bring rain. The next morning, they wake up to find it raining. Ji-ho rushes to the train station, with Woo-jin following, but they find no one there. Despite Ji-ho's protests, Woo-jin tries to take him home. As they approach a tunnel, they spot a silhouette. While Woo-jin is cautious, Ji-ho runs toward the person, who turns out to be Soo A, Ji-ho's supposedly deceased mother, suffering from amnesia. They bring her home, and Ji-ho tries to remind her of their family with a drawing. This makes Woo-jin nervous, so he takes Ji-ho aside to discuss the situation privately. They decide not to disclose the truth about Soo A's past, and come up with a story about her recent memory loss. Soo A joins in with the morning routine the next day. Once Ji-ho is at school, he sneaks back home to spend time with his mother. Soo A discovers her wedding ring and a key, hiding them when Ji-ho arrives. They spend the day together, and Ji-ho notices his mother's surprising improvement in health. At dinner, Ji-ho refuses his dad's cooking, longing for his mom's food. Soo A attempts to cook but struggles, leading to a minor accident in the kitchen where Woo-jin gets burnt. After putting Ji-ho to bed, Soo A insists on applying cream to Woo-jin's burns. She asks him to recount their love story while tending to his injuries. Woo-jin and Soo A first met in high school. Soo A was the top student, while Woo-jin focused more on swimming, often dozing in class. Their paths crossed during a swimming class when Woo-jin saved Soo A from drowning, instantly developing a crush on her. His friend Honggu, noticing Woo-jin's feelings, tried to help him win her over. However, their attempts at conversation, including a clumsy dance class moment resulting in an accidental injury to Soo A, led to an awkward distance between them. They didn't speak again until the last day of school when Soo A asked Honggu to sign her yearbook. She offered Woojin the chance to sign it too, which he did. When Soo A took back her yearbook, she inadvertently took his pen. In the present, Woojin shows her the same pen as a keepsake. After high school, Woojin pursued swimming at a nearby college while Soo A moved to Seoul for university. Woojin tried to call Soo A during their first summer break, but nerves always led him to hang up the phone. His army service kept them apart for 2 years. Upon his return, with Honggu's assistance, he finally managed to speak with her. Although he initially sought his pen back as an excuse to meet, they rendezvoused at their old school. The meeting was awkward, but eventually, they went for dinner and found common ground in conversation. As they waited for their buses, either wanted to part ways, lingering until Soo A's departure. In a spur-of-the-moment decision, Woojin chased after her bus, proposing to correspond by letter during her time away, which she accepted. In the present, Woojin promises to continue the story another day as they retire to bed. The next morning, Jiho overhears a classmate saying it rains whenever his dad washes the car. Soo A, curious, discovers a shack in the garden, unlocking it with a key she found earlier. Inside, she finds it's where she used to craft. After work, Woojin heads to see Honggu, who attempts to set him up on a blind date. Woojin tries to leave but is accurately pegged by Honggu as already seeing someone. Startled, Woojin flees. Later, Honggu tries to surprise Jiho dressed as a penguin, much to Woojin's dismay. Mistakenly thinking Soo A is a ghost, Honggu flees, promising to avoid setting up blind dates for Woojin. Afterward, Soo A asks Woojin to continue their relationship story. He did write to her, and their next meeting was at the movies. Trying to hold her hand, he accidentally grabbed someone else's foot. Later, as they waited for the bus, Soo A boldly put her hand in Woojin's jacket pocket, initiating a connection. In the present, they repeat this affectionate act as Jiho talks in his sleep. Sometime later, Woojin takes Soo A to a hilltop for a picnic, where they listen to the radio and use binoculars to watch a movie from a nearby drive-in theater. Engrossed in the movie, Soo A is surprised by Woojin's unexpected kiss, marking their first in the rain. Days pass, and Soo A gets used to her routine, playing with Jiho, managing household chores, and cooking for the family. She comes across the penguin book but doesn't think much of it. Noticing Jiho collecting 4-leaf clovers to wish for rain, she discreetly adds her own without his knowledge, observed by both Jiho and Woojin. One day, the family enjoys a river outing. When they return home, Woojin carries them both, but upon entering the house, he faints. Regaining consciousness, he decides to explain by recounting their story. It all started after their third date when Soo A gifted him a clover charm for good luck in his swimming tryouts. However, he faced health issues, a brain problem causing fainting under stress. He had to quit the swimming team and hid his condition from Soo A, eventually breaking up with her. A year later, he visited her university but saw her with another man, leaving without speaking to her, dropping the clover charm. Despite avoiding contact, he eventually reunited with her, leading to a proposal she accepted, despite familial disapproval. As their story concludes, they fall asleep cuddling. The following day, Jiho informs his parents about singing at the school concert, inviting Soo A. At school, Jiho shares his dream of winning the Olympics. Meanwhile, Soo A discovers her diary, revealing her past, but she chooses not to disclose it. Instead, she teaches Jiho household tasks to assist his dad. Woojin and Honggu are taking steps to block the train tunnel, hoping to prevent Soo A's return to Cloudland. As the rainy season nears its end, everyone's mood sours. One day, Woojin receives a call from Jiho's classmate's mother. Jiho had been caught washing her car but remains silent about it. Concerned, the classmate's mother suggests Jiho might need therapy due to emotional issues from missing his mother. During their ride home, Jiho reveals that he washed the car in the hope it would make it rain and keep his mother longer. The next day, Woojin is distraught to find the wood covering the tunnel has been blown away. Soo A seeks a favor from Honggu and later returns with a cake, celebrating Jiho's birthday as a family. Watching the rain, Soo A expresses a heartfelt wish for Jiho to grow as handsome as his dad, kissing and hugging Woojin while emotional. On the day of the concert, Woojin faces work complications, rushing to save Choi after an accident. During the concert, Jiho is reluctant to sing due to his parents' absence. However, when Soo A finally arrives, he opens up, speaking about his aspirations to become a good caretaker for his dad, thanks to the housekeeping skills his mom taught him. As the concert ends and the sun emerges, Soo A rushes to the station. Jiho sees the sunlight at school, and Woojin, struggling to get there, faces multiple challenges. Despite difficulties, Woojin recalls a heartfelt conversation he shared with Soo A, finding strength in her words. Jiho reaches the station first, embracing Soo A and pleading with her not to leave. Soo A reassures him, expressing that it wasn't his fault. As she disappears into the tunnel, Woojin arrives just in time to witness her departure. With Jiho's growing help at home, life becomes more manageable for Woojin. His reduced stress allows him to excel as a swimming instructor. One evening, after taking his medicine, he discovers a note from Soo A in his bag, leading him to her diary. Reading her perspective, he learns that Soo A had admired him from afar before their school encounter. Her nervousness around him stemmed from an incident where she embarrassed herself in front of him. This revelation sheds new light on their initial interactions. When Soo A asked Honggu to sign her yearbook, it was a way to get closer to Woojin. The pen she kept was a memento of him. She tried calling him during college, but fear held her back. Ultimately, Woojin made the first call, which led to their first date. Anxiety struck again as she worried he only wanted the pen, but Woojin took the lead once more. Despite their breakup, she couldn't forget him. On a day at university, she mistakenly got into a friendly classmate's car but swiftly exited when she spotted Woojin waiting. In her haste, she picked up the clover charm and was hit by a van as she crossed the street. This accident resulted in her unconsciousness, awakening 8 years into the future in the tunnel, devoid of memories of their shared life. Falling in love with him anew, every moment felt precious. Retreating into the tunnel, she returned to the past, waking from a 6-week coma at the hospital. Terrified about the future she glimpsed, she didn't want to die young but understood that choosing a different path wouldn't bring her the same happiness. This realization prompted her to call Woojin to meet again, affirming they were meant to be together. A decade later, Woojin prepares to gift Jiho Soo A's diary on his birthday. Honggu arrives with a cake and a card left by Soo A favor she'd asked for years ago. She left a card for each birthday until his 20th, which is today. Jiho's heading out on a date but promises to return early to make dinner for his dad.